My child, can you give me 1 minute? Stop right here. Don't rush. Don't scroll. Don't sign. Don't send. I am stepping into your day, into your thoughts, into the heat of this very moment, and I am asking for 60 seconds of your attention, not because I demand it, not to control you, but because I am about to redirect you, not delay you. This interruption is protection. This pause is a hand on your shoulder before your life moves in a way that is harder to unmove. You are inches from an exit, words forming, fingers hovering, plans already rehearsed. I feel the pull in your chest that says, anything but this. I know how badly you want the pressure to stop. Hear me. Decisions made in overwhelm can look like relief at first, but they often harden into regret. Panic feels fast. Wisdom is steady. Fleeing promises quiet for a minute. Calling promises peace for a season. The difference matters, and it matters now. Breathe with me. Unclench your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Put the phone down next to you for a moment and let your hands open. Inhale slowly. Exhale longer. Attention is alignment, and alignment is how clarity finds you. Let me hush the room inside you. Let me quiet the storm long enough for you to hear the right voice name what this really is. Before you quit, pause long enough to discern the sign. I will show it to you. I will place it where you cannot miss it. There is a way to know if this exit is wisdom or if it is panic dressed up like freedom. I will not leave you guessing. By the end of this minute, you will feel the edge soften where truth lives, and you will know which door is yours. Not everything will be decided right now, but everything can be redirected right now. This moment is not random. It is not accidental. I arranged this interruption in the timeline of your life. I know how many times you asked for a clear answer, a bright line, a voice to say, do this or wait. I am answering with a pause because a pause changes momentum. Once the email sends, once the keys slam into a desk, once a bridge is burned, many other hands begin to move in response. And that movement is not simple to undo. Let me keep you from setting in motion a thing you will soon wish you could stop. Lean closer. Give me your breath, your attention, your next small decision. I promise you, clarity is closer than your panic says. This 1 minute is a doorway, and if you walk through it with me, it will open into a longer reset that steadies your steps, guards what I am building, and keeps you aligned for what is already approaching. Stay. Listen. Let me protect you. My child, I know why your hand keeps reaching for the handle, why your heart rehearses goodbye in the quiet. Body tired, soul tired. You wake with a weight already sitting on your chest before your feet touch the floor, and mornings feel heavy like wet clothes. You put on the forced smile because that is what the room requires, but behind the eyes the lights are dimmed. You have cried in places where no one sees, over the sink with the water running, in the car at the longest red light, turned into the pillow so the sound disappears. You have been mentally exhausted, looping the same problems as if thinking harder could make them obey, spiritually quiet as if the heavens moved 3 steps back and left you talking to your own echo. I have been in your atmosphere, close enough to feel what you could not explain, closer than your breath when you ran out of words. Hear me. This is fatigue, not failure. You are not weak. Your nervous system has been carrying too much for too long. Duty stacked on duty, losses ungrieved because there was no time, alarms that never turned off. Your body has been faithful to keep you moving, to armor you so you could function. But armor is heavy, and even the strongest legs quiver under it. Survival mode kept you alive, but survival mode is not meant to be forever. You weren't rejecting hope. You were rationing energy. You weren't abandoning faith. You were bracing for the next hit. I have never confused your protection strategies with rebellion. I have held your shaking, and I have not shamed it. Your life has been noisy, The enemy has not needed a scandal to disorient you, only a steady thrum of interruptions and shoulds and scrolling and perform for them and keep it together. Noise gives birth to numbness, and numbness gives birth to drift. Drifting doesn't announce itself with sirens. It happens one skipped breath at a time, one postponed cry at a time, one "I'll deal with it later" at a time. And as you drift, clarity fades. Overwhelm floods your inner room, and when you are flooded, every option starts wearing the same costume: escape. You begin to call escape peace because it promises silence for a moment, even if it only hands you a different kind of storm. Panic spikes and says, anything but this. Wisdom, even when it points to a change, speaks with a steady peace that does not bully you. I know how many times you thought, if I just quit, I will finally breathe. I know how many nights you tried to sleep and your sleep wouldn't take, how many mornings you asked me for strength and then hustled past my answer because the clock barked. I was there when you clenched your jaw through the meeting, when you laughed to be polite and then folded in on yourself in the bathroom stall. I saw the text you didn't send, the message you typed and erased 3 times. I felt the ache you couldn't translate. This is why I interrupted you, not to minimize your pain, but to name it accurately so it loses its power to mislabel itself as wisdom. Your desire to quit is real, but exhaustion can impersonate wisdom. And when exhaustion plays dress-up, it tries to rush you out the door right before the right door opens. Let me slow your pulse so your discernment can tell the difference between peace and pressure, between relief and release. Stay with me in this pause. Now that your pain is named and your breath is returning, we can ask the true question without panic answering for you. Are you being led to leave, or are you overwhelmed and trying to run? My child, lean into this with me. Are you being led, or are you fleeing? Are you quitting because I am calling you out of a season, or because fear is pushing you out of a room that suddenly feels too small? Are you stepping toward what I have prepared, or sprinting away from what feels unbearable? The decision is not only about what you will do, it is about what is driving the motion inside you. Hear me clearly. Both leaving and staying can be holy. Sometimes I lead you to stay, and the grace to endure meets you in the staying. Sometimes I lead you to go, and doors open that you could not have forced with 1,000 keys. The holiness is not in the headline of stayed or left. The holiness is in the source, peace or pressure, clarity or chaos, calling or compulsion. Wisdom carries a peace that persists even when the path is steep. Panic shouts with a pressure that spikes, then leaves you breathing in shards. You have tried to think your way out. You have tried to plan your way out. You have tried to work your way out. But discernment is not a product of overclocked effort. Discernment is born in stillness. So I am giving you the 1-minute test, the posture that reveals the driver behind your decision. Stop, breathe, put the decision in your open hands before me, and do nothing but notice the atmosphere inside your chest. Do not argue with it. Do not negotiate with it. Notice. When you picture staying, what rises? Steady courage or suffocating threat? When you picture leaving, what settles? Calm alignment or desperate escape? Peace that persists points to wisdom. Pressure that spikes points to panic. My voice may guide you through hard things, but it will not bully you. Let me show you the 2 climates that visit the heart. When I am calling, there is often a clean line of clarity that does not need to be louder than everything else. It quietly remains. It does not rush you with right now or else. It gives you next steps, not just next fears. It holds together with a patience that matches my character. Gentle, firm, not frantic. You may feel nervous, but beneath the nerves, there is an anchored yes. When panic is pushing, the timeline shrinks to this second. The story collapses to catastrophic all or nothing. You hear ultimatums in your own head. Leave now or you'll shatter. Stay and you'll die inside. The body tightens, the breath shortens, the mind sprints through worst-case halls. That is not my wind. That is not how I lead my beloved. So take this minute with me now. Lay down the spreadsheets and the pros and cons rehearsals that only circle back to dread. Place your hand on your heart. Let your jaw unlock. Whisper, I choose to be led, not driven. I will meet you in that sentence. I will separate the threads. I will show you the pull that is from me and the push that is not. And because I know the part of you that still doubts, that says, but what if I miss here? What if I am alone in this? I will not leave you guessing in a vacuum. You will not decide from isolation. I am about to walk you through the proof you crave, the companionship you feared you did not have. I saw, I heard, I was there. My child, listen. I saw the nights you lay on your back staring at the ceiling while the clock glowed an accusation you couldn't answer. I saw you reread the same message until the words blurred and then reread it once more, hoping a different meaning might appear if you punished yourself with it long enough. I saw you press send on applications and ideas and kindnesses and then meet silence that felt like a verdict. I saw you walk into rooms where your voice felt smaller than the table, where you offered your best and watched a lesser version of it be applauded on someone else's tongue. I saw you doing your best and still feeling behind, still feeling late, still feeling like you were running on a treadmill that wouldn't let you off. I heard the breath you trapped in your chest during the meeting you had to survive. I heard your whispered, please just help me get through today, prayed in a bathroom stall with your forehead against your wrist. I heard the private negotiations you made with your own hope. If this doesn't change by Friday, I'm done. If they don't see me by next month, I'm gone. I heard the apology you rehearsed for leaving, and I heard the apology you rehearsed for staying, because either way you feared you were failing someone. I counted the mornings you got up when your bones begged for one more hour. I counted the times you chose kindness over the clapback that would have been easier. I counted the unseen seeds you planted, work nobody thanked you for yet, prayers you whispered over people who never knew, boundaries you tried to set even as your hands shook. I counted the brave little choices that did not trend even in your own mind, because you were busy grading yourself on outcomes I never asked you to produce. I held you together in the shower when the hot water became the only place your tears felt permitted. I held your jaw when it clenched so tight it ached. I held your hand on the steering wheel at the red light where you finally exhaled. I held back what would have broken you before its time, and I held in place what you were certain would fall apart. I held your name before heaven when you felt nameless on earth, and every tear, every prayer, every groan too deep to name reached me. None were wasted, not one. You weren't rejecting me. You were protecting yourself. You didn't go numb to spite me. You went numb to survive the volume. You didn't overwork to earn my love. You overworked to keep the room from collapsing on your watch. You didn't avoid the decision because you are cowardly. You avoided it because your body was signaling danger and you listened. I have never confused your coping with rebellion. I have never called your self-protection a lack of faith. I call it proof that you are human in a hard world, beloved and worth guarding. I never left you, not for a second. I was closer to you in the tear-choked silence than I was in the days when you felt strong. I sat beside you when the invitation didn't come. I stood behind you when the credit went elsewhere. I wrapped you when the room emptied, and I stayed when you assumed everyone would leave. Because I have been this near, you do not have to decide from loneliness. Now breathe, because this safety is not permission to drift. It is the ground under your feet so you can hear what comes next. Something you asked me for is moving toward you. It is nearer than your fear assumes. If you quit from panic, you could step out of position right as the answer arrives. Stay with me in this minute. Let my nearness settle you so urgency does not become emergency, so you can discern the timing I have set and receive what is approaching with hands that are open, not shaking. My child, listen closely. If you rush past this minute, you may miss the very thing you've been begging me to send. Not because I hide answers, but because answers often arrive in a tone softer than panic can hear. Presence is protection. The nearness you feel right now is not sentimental. It is strategy. It is me guarding your placement, so what is approaching can find you standing where it knows to arrive. You have prayed for movement, for confirmation, for mercy you can feel in your bones. One of those requests is already in transit, closer than your exhaustion estimates. It may look like a door that didn't open last month quietly unlocking next Tuesday. It may look like a conversation that begins with, "I've been thinking about you," spoken by the very person who seemed uninterested. It may look like an email that lands at 2:17 p.m., a yes from a decision maker who didn't know your name last week. It may look like a strengthening inside you, a resilience that surprises even you when you walk back into the room and feel the weight lift. It may look like a small invitation that doesn't look grand but is precisely the stepping stone that places you in the path of the larger thing. These are not hype. These are how providence often wears skin. But hear me, you must be awake for it. You must be present for it. When panic drives, it dulls your senses and narrows your vision to survival. It teaches you to scan for threat, not for answer. And then the answer can stand 2 feet away, wearing a simple coat, and you will call it ordinary and walk past it. If you quit from pressure right now, you will likely numb the very sensitivity you need to recognize me when I arrive in the understated ways I often do. Timing matters because some exits are not just doors, they are detonators. Once the resignation sends, other hands begin moving, roles reassign, budgets shift, projects close, calendars rearrange, trust recalibrates. Some relationships interpret your exit not as a pause but as a permanent change, and the bridge you torch in a hot minute is the bridge you would have needed for the next stretch I am building for you. Even inside you, stories start hardening. I always quit. I ruin good things. I'm not the one. And those stories take longer to unwind than this moment will take to breathe. I am not saying stay forever. I am saying don't burn what you will soon need for light. I am not holding you here to trap you, not to control you, but to protect what I am sending to you. I aligned this pause as a shield around precisely timed goodness. If you remain with me in it, you will see the first edge of the answer come into view. And because I do not play hide and seek with your future, I will give you the sign you asked me for, the one that distinguishes wisdom from panic. Here it is, simple enough to carry into any room. Peace that persists versus pressure that spikes. In the next breath, we will test it together. Stay with me. My child, here is the sign, clear enough to carry in your pocket into any room. Peace that persists versus pressure that spikes. Wisdom speaks in a steady current that remains after the first wave of feeling passes. Panic surges like a siren, demands a decision this second, and leaves you shaky as soon as you step. The atmosphere inside you is the compass. Listen to it with me. Calling clarifies, panic catastrophizes. Calling gives you language you can repeat tomorrow without cringing. Panic gives you ultimatums you outgrow by nightfall. Calling can wait. Panic insists now or never. Calling is sober, even when it points to a costly change. It is not drunk on drama. Panic is reactive and theatrical, painting worst-case endings on every wall in a single brushstroke. Calling whispers next steps. Panic shouts threats. Your body is part of the discernment I designed. Notice it. When pressure is driving, your breath sits high and fast in your chest. Your jaw tightens, your shoulders creep toward your ears. Your thoughts loop in doom circles you can't exit. Your stomach knots, your fingers itch to escape. Scroll, send, slam, run. When peace is present, your breath begins to drop lower. Your exhale lengthens. Your eyes can focus again. Your thoughts line up like patient guests waiting their turn. Your body loosens, even if your heart still trembles. This is not make-believe. It is how I tuned your nervous system to register my wins. Do not mistake peace for comfort. Peace is not the absence of cost. It is the presence of alignment. You may still feel nervous. Your hands may still shake. Tears may still come. But beneath the emotion, there is a through line, a quiet yes that doesn't need to bully you to be obeyed. It is like a river under ice, cold on the surface, but moving strong and sure beneath. And hear this warning with love. Numbness is not peace. Shutdown is not clarity. The freeze that descends when you are overwhelmed can feel like relief because it silences the noise, but it also silences your signal. That is sedation, not guidance. Drift can mimic calm. No desire, no fear, just blank, but blank cannot bless you. Peace makes you more alive, not less. It widens your vision instead of shrinking it, softens your face instead of hardening it, returns appetite for small good things, and invites connection rather than isolation. So we will practice together. Place the decision in your open hands before me. Sit still for 1 honest minute. Unclench your jaw. Let your shoulders drop. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale longer than you inhaled. Do this 3 times. Whisper, I choose refuge over rush. Now picture staying. Wait 30 seconds past the first swell of feeling. What remains? Steady courage or suffocating pressure? Reset your breath. Picture leaving. Wait again. What remains? Clean alignment or escape energy? If it is me, the peace will persist after the spike has spent itself. If it is panic, the pressure will keep nipping at your heels, demanding you move before you're ready to see. Hold still long enough for the spike to reveal itself and pass. Truth does not fear a minute of quiet. I am in this pause, guarding you, sorting your signals, ready to lead you step by steady step once your inner weather clears. Stay with me a little longer. We are turning this minute into a reset. My child, let me quiet the noise. Stop right here. Don't add one more tab in your mind. Don't rehearse the argument. Don't pre-write the goodbye. Place your feet on the floor. Unclench your jaw. Let your shoulders fall from your ears. Inhale slowly. Hold. Exhale longer than you inhaled. Again and again. Feel the ground holding you. Feel my presence holding the ground. Stay. Do not flee what you feel. Feel it with me. Stillness is not wasting time. It is how your spirit returns to truth. Hand me the weight for this minute. Not all of it, not the whole future, just the next 60 seconds of burden. Whisper, here, you carry what I cannot. I take it. I do not drop it. While I hold, you can notice. While I hold, you can hear. While I hold, you can become accurate again. Now, delay as discernment. Hear me. I am not delaying you. I am aligning you. Waiting is not procrastination when it restores your signal. A wise pause is a tool, not a trap. When your inner room is flooded, every piece of furniture looks like a shadow. Let the waters recede so you can see the shapes for what they are. Truth survives time. Panic demands immediacy. So give truth some time to rise to the surface. Ask with me gently without performing, what am I afraid will happen if I stay? Name it. Don't censor it. Don't call it dramatic. Call it honest. What am I hoping will happen if I leave? Let the hope speak without shame. And what would I choose if I wasn't terrified? Listen for the answer that sounds like you when you are not shaking. These three questions will separate threat from truth, fantasy from calling, compulsion from clarity. Now receive the boundary I set around your life, a 48-hour protection boundary. Do not make a permanent decision inside a flooded moment. 2 sleeps, 2 sunrises. Pray slowly, breathe fully. Seek counsel from the safe and the wise. 1 or 2 voices who love your soul more than your storyline, who do not profit from your panic. Let them speak into a calm you, not a cornered you. If the peace is me, it will persist for 48 hours. If it is panic, it will demand now and fray by nightfall. While you wait, keep handing me the minute. Every time your chest tightens, say, "Hold this for me again." I will. I am not far. I am at your shoulder, steadying your breath, guarding your edges, placing small lights along the path so you take the next step in peace, not in performance. And as this minute turns into a reset, I will begin to adjust the story you've been telling yourself about your past. In the next breath, we will look back together, at closed doors, at stuck places, at endings that startled you, and I will show you how many of them were shields, not sentences. Stay with me. Your timeline is not unraveling, it is being protected. My child, look back with me, not to reopen wounds, but to see with the light I kept over you when you thought I went silent. Those closed doors that still hum with disappointment inside your chest, none of them were punishment. Every single one was protection. Say it with me until it settles. None of them were punishment. Every single one was protection. Do you remember the sudden cancellation that embarrassed you? The meeting that was promised and then had to be rescheduled until it dissolved into nothing? You called it disrespect. You called it a waste. I called it rerouting around a room that would have smiled at you while extracting more than it would ever return. Do you remember the relationship that faded without a clean sentence? The slow ghosting that made you question your worth? You called it rejection. I called it a rescue from a story that would have grown controlling by increments so small you wouldn't have noticed until you were no longer yourself. Do you remember the offer that looked like a lifeline? The door you begged me to swing wide that stayed shut like a wall? You called it delay. I called it a shield from a schedule that would have burned your body and a pressure that would have swallowed your joy. What you wanted too early could have broken you. What you chased could have cost you more than you knew. Hear me. I never delighted in your heartbreak. I don't toss no like stones. I hold your timeline like a living thing I'm protecting while storms pass and scaffolding strengthens. The job that didn't pick you had internal rot that would have asked you to betray your boundaries in tiny daily ways. The platform that didn't open had a trapdoor beneath it that would have collapsed under the weight of others' projections. The friendship that unraveled was tied to a tribe that applauds burnout as devotion. The apartment that fell through was in a corridor that would have made you feel isolated at precisely the hour you needed safe neighbors. I am not making this dramatic. I am telling you how precise my keeping has been. And yes, protection can feel like rejection when you are tired. When you are weary, locked gates sound like judgment and reroutes feel like shame. I validate the tears you cried over what didn't happen. Your grief is not a failure of faith. It is proof that you loved, you hoped, you tried. Let the grief be honored and then let the meaning be restored. What felt like rejection was often rescue, and your story has been guarded more than you realized. This matters for now because your urge to quit is tangled up with your memory of these closures. Confusion about past no's is feeding the panic that wants a dramatic "I'm done today." But when you see those endings as me placing my hand on the brake to keep you from skidding off the road, the pressure inside you begins to lose its argument. Clarity about protection stabilizes the present decision. You are not late. You are kept. You are not unwanted. You are watched over. You are not unlucky. You are aligned. Let this settle your breath. I have not been subtracting your life. I have been safeguarding your future. I have not been withholding to wound you. I have been pacing to preserve you. The doors that closed were not the end of your calling. They were the edges that kept your calling from spilling into places that would have swallowed it whole. None of them were punishment. Every single one was protection. Now, as the meaning returns, we will address who you are in moments like this. You are not the sum of stalled plans. You are not the label your tired mind throws at you when you're scared. You are my beloved child, and from this protected ground, we will move you from survival to receptivity, so you can receive what is approaching without flinching, without fleeing, and without forfeiting yourself. Stay with me. We're about to speak to your name. My child, hear me with the tenderness your soul needs. You are not a quitter. You are my beloved child who has been surviving more than living, carrying more than bodies were built to carry, breathing through alarms that never turned off. Survival mode is not your shame. It is a shelter you ran into when the storm wouldn't end. But shelters are for passing through, not for naming yourself after. Survival narrows the map until every road looks like escape, until the only relief that makes sense is out. That is what has been happening, not a collapse of your character, but a body and mind doing their best to keep you safe when everything felt like too much. My beloved child, let me speak to your name until it steadies your hands. You are called beloved before you are called brave. You belong before you perform. You are mine before you decide. You are not the mistakes you fear you'll make. You are not the label your panic pasted on your chest. You are not the silence from others. You are not the stutter in your confidence. You are the one I keep, the one I hold, the one I lead with a voice that does not bully you. My child, when the old shame whispers quitter, answer with the truth I am giving you now. I am a beloved child, learning to be led. I know the disappointment that sits like a stone beneath your ribs, prayers that felt unanswered, efforts that felt unseen, days that felt swallowed. You whispered requests and nothing moved. You poured out and nothing poured back. You sowed and saw bare soil. But they did reach me. Every prayer reached me. Every effort registered. Every quiet yes. Every hard boundary. Every attempt to try again counted, gathered, held. I was not absent. I was protecting timing, strengthening scaffolding, guarding your edges so your life would not leak out where it could be stolen. This is the transformation I am leading you into. From numbness to feeling, from drifting to presence, from reacting to receiving. Numbness kept you from breaking. Now feeling will bring you back to color. Drift let you float away from pain. Now presence will anchor you where help can find you. Reaction spent you in flashes. Now receiving will strengthen you in steady streams. My peace is waking your senses, not to overwhelm you, but to return you to yourself with me. So take this identity into the next breaths. You are the one who pauses before you pivots. You are the one who asks for wisdom and waits long enough to hear it. You are the one who does not abandon yourself in a hard season. You are the one who chooses refuge over rush. When the old story shouts, "Hurry or else," you will answer, "I move with peace that persists." When fear scripts your exit, you will say, "I am not driven, I am led." And from this truer name, we will move from inner clarity to outer steps. Not dramatic leaps, not scorched earth exits, guarded, gentle, grounded movements that keep bridges intact and your spirit aligned. In the next moments, I will show you how to choose without collapsing into fear, how to walk toward light without burning what you will need for tomorrow. Stay close, my child. Your identity is secure. Your next step will be simple. My child, now we make it simple. Not a whole life plan, not a dramatic escape. One faithful step that does not violate the peace we have uncovered. A protected life decision is rarely a leap. It is a steady step taken in peace, a step you can explain in daylight without apology, a step that keeps your bridges intact because the light you are walking toward might shine back across them tomorrow. There are two honest lanes, and I will not force you into either. If peace persists toward leaving, leave with honor. Walk, don't run. Give notice rather than detonations. Speak gratitude where it is true. Return what is not yours. Document what you've built so others aren't left scraping in your absence. Bless as you go. Pack your dignity with your things. Close gently so the story can remain open for future goodness to find you. If peace persists, the departure itself will carry restraint. You won't need to scorch to prove you're free. If pressure is spiking, pause and stabilize first. Your next step then is not an exit, it is a breath and a boundary. Email for a conversation instead of a resignation. Ask for clarity before you assume catastrophe. Request workload triage. Take the day of rest you've delayed. Schedule the talk at an hour when your nervous system can hear. Let your body come down. Choose the smallest repair that returns your signal and do that first. The door will still be there after peace has a say. Here are the guardrails, given as protection, not control. Don't quit through a text in a storm. Don't resign after midnight despair. Don't end what you can revisit after rest. Don't announce decisions from the bathroom floor or the parking lot after a blow-up. Sleep twice. Hydrate. Eat something honest. Step into sunlight. Let the chemicals of panic complete their cycle. Then let wisdom speak. If it's me, the peace will persist. It won't expire at dawn. Use the tools that separate calling from emotion. Pray slowly, out loud if you can, until the sentence you can keep tomorrow arrives. Journal 2 columns, what peace says, what pressure says. Peace will name steps, pressure will issue threats. Share your draft decision with 1 or 2 safe, wise voices who love your soul more than your storyline. Ask them to reflect back what they hear when you are not shaking. Give time the chance to confirm. 24, 48 hours. Truth ages well. Panic sours. I will lead you. I will not shame you. If you overstep, I will redirect, not reject. If you understep, I will strengthen your courage without scolding. I am not standing with a ruler. I am walking with a hand on your shoulder. Even in either outcome, staying or leaving, I will be where you place your foot next. So make the next step small. Draft, don't send. Ask, don't assume. Walk to the light, don't burn the bridge. If the bridge is unsafe, we will cross it carefully. If it is still needed, we will keep it. And to anchor your heart, declare with me now, out loud, and where others can remind you when the noise returns. I choose steady steps. I choose refuge over rush. I walk by peace, not pressure. Hold this sentence, and in the next moment we will seal what you have chosen, so guidance can find you again and again. My child, now we seal it. This minute becomes a marker. When you choose refuge over rush, you choose the path where guidance can find you again and again. Do it with me out loud, and do it in a way your future self can revisit when the noise returns. Type it, speak it, anchor it. Comment, God is my safe refuge, not as performance but as placement, not because I demand it, but because your attention is your alignment, and this is how you step under the shelter you just chose. Now set gratitude as a boundary against despair. Write, thank you God for holding my hand when I wanted to quit. Let the words catch up to your breath. Let them testify to the truth I have been proving in private. I held you when your chest was tight. I steadied you when your voice shook. I kept you when your hope thinned to a thread. Gratitude is not denial. It is the witness that turns survival into story and reminds your nervous system what safety feels like with me. This commitment is not only for you, it is rescue for someone else standing on the same cliff. You know their name. You felt their face flash across your mind as we spoke. Send this to someone who is about to make a decision in exhaustion. Tell them, pause with me. Presence is protection for them, too. Do not assume they will find it on their own. I arrange timing through willing hands. Your sharing can become the interruption that keeps a life from burning a bridge they will need tomorrow. If you feel led to help this interruption reach more tired hearts, you may also support the work that carries it. Your generosity, even through a simple super thanks, becomes a seed that places this refuge in more rooms where panic has been loud. Not obligation, invitation, not to purchase favor, but to multiply mercy. Now breathe with me as I set my promise over your head like a canopy. This is not random. I arranged this moment. I stepped into your timeline on purpose. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are not alone. I am not leaving when this video ends. I will be in the silence that follows, in the sunrise that meets you, in the meeting you feared, in the email you send or don't send, in the rest you finally allow. You don't need to quit today. You need to be guided today, and I will guide you tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. Say it with me one more time, and let it settle like a seal on your spirit. I choose refuge over rush. I walk by peace that persists, not pressure that spikes. I am led, not driven. I am kept, not cornered. I will take small, steady steps, and guidance will find me. I bless your next hour with clarity. I bless your sleep with restoration. I bless your conversations with gentleness and truth. I bless your body with calm and your mind with light. Go in the quiet strength we have awakened. When you feel the spike, return to this marker. When you need my voice, whisper my name. I am here, my child. We are walking on together.